Hello everyone, I'm Jay,
I'm Val.
and today we're coming to you from Lee, New Hampshire, and we are at Haunted Overload. So Valerie, what are we expecting today?
You know what? I am not sure what to expect. I've seen videos, I've seen pictures, and it looks amazing in the videos and the pictures, but I can only imagine what it's going to look like for us to walk through some of this stuff.
So we're here during the day so that we can show you sort of like a behind the scenes. We are going to get a tour from Nikki, and hopefully we can get an interview with one of the owners and operators today. So come along with us as we Jay and Val around Haunted Overload here in Lee, New Hampshire.
Hi, my name is Nikki. I am one of the builders and a scare actor at Haunted Overload. That's where we are today. We're going to give you a little tour, show you some projects that we're working on. So a lot of stuff will be incomplete, and a lot of stuff will be pretty old, stuff that's been here for a very long time, like the mansion and the skull, for example. And we're going to go through this witch house here. This is one of our most brand new buildings. We just built it for this season. It's kind of like a larger version of the original witch house, which we will show you when we're inside the trail. So we can go through here. This is like not where you give tickets. A lot of people get confused. It's funny to like walk around as an actor when no one knows that, like, you know, you're paying attention to them, as they get confused. They're like, where do we give our tickets? It's like, oh, you go through the whole queue line before you get to the ticket booth. So no tickets yet. But if you can see, we're adding all these details, the dead leaves and things like that. We also have people donate us like dead, dried, hung flowers, and we use those as details in all the witch houses. Pretty much all these sticks are collected from, I feel like that's the majority of our job, is collecting sticks now. So it's just to add more detail and authenticity to the house. Then we have these spooky trees. So these trees are being resurrected, basically the idea of them, from Copple House. If you go to Copple House Farm, where Haunted Overload used to be, there actually is still the trees there. I can't believe they're even still kicking, because eventually, you know, these were just sunken into the ground. They will rot over time. So this is like a 3-year project, and we have all the faces. It takes them an entire day just to carve one face. And they're going to also have like big crazy stick arms as well. So it's really exciting to have these guys finally finished. I think we had one, and then we only had the 2, and now all of them are done. So it's all girl names. So when we get to the Reapers, we have names for them too. Those are all boy names. But we just do silly stuff like that. I think this one's probably my favorite. But yeah, he doesn't trace or he just freehands all of this. It's wild. Each one is perfect in its own way. So we're entering through this way. Also, this fence is just the example of, like, that's how the fence starts. So it will be chopped to be jagged, and everything's pretty much painted black. And that's to help keep people up. So, going this way. Once the door opens, apparently.
Oh, perfect. I'm so glad I didn't eat that all you could eat breakfast.
So just don't trip over there. So this entire building was moved from the front. It was where that witch house is, and we literally just took it apart and rebuilt it right here. As like another entrance. And all these skeletons are going to be hung from all up here, and all of this will be painted black. So we used to have the hanging skeletons in the crematorium. I swear it's like
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be a big pumpkin man, and these are like his legs. So this is going to be our largest pumpkin man right now. Back when I first began, we had a 50-foot pumpkin man in Pumpkin Alley, but he was very, very hard to maintain, and he was just like became an eyesore in photos, and it was too dangerous to fully clothe him properly, and a lot of people didn't even look up. A lot of people never even knew he was there. They never looked up at him. He was just so high. So we've been trying to replace him with other tall pumpkin men, because that's kind of what Eric was known for. I mean, he started as a home haunt in 2001, and he didn't have a lot of yard space, so instead of building out, he had to build up, and he became notorious for like giant monsters. So he wants to carry on the tradition of things that are up high. You know, it's just obviously like dangerous. The great thing about working here is that like it doesn't matter if you're smaller person or a bigger person, male, female, whatever, you all learn how to use the tools here. We're all climbing ladders. I mean, obviously if you're scared, you don't have to, but they encourage you and teach you in a very like gentle way, so you don't feel stupid on how to like do things properly here. So like literally everybody here who builds is capable of helping in any way.
That's
and like
amazing.
most of us have used the chainsaws, so he's very like, we're building Eric's dream, but it's very free, and we're able to create how we create, like just in his name, I guess you could say.
Sure.
And
Well, we
some
think-
people aren't that into it. Some people are like, I don't want to do that.
Well, we believe that this is art, obviously,
Yeah.
and art has no rules.
Yeah.
So you should be free. You should be able to do whatever you want, and if you find some material that maybe you wouldn't normally use, and you
Yeah.
get an idea, use it.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
A lot of this stuff too, it's like, here's another example of a downed scarecrow.
Scarecrow down!
Two of them there, or maybe is there three? No, there's two. So these will just be, I have to, pretty them up. Even these guys, like you can see under their chins and stuff, we just have to, he spends thousands of dollars a year on corn stalks, especially when there's a drought and they're like really expensive. But we like to save them as long as we can, year after year after year, because we use the scraps to just fill them in and make them look pretty, and they need constant maintenance. Like I did those ones out front a month or two ago, but I'm guaranteeing you I'll have to do it again right before we open, just one more touch up. So, I mean, the goal is to try and create projects where we only have to do it like the one time and then maybe fix it a few years later, but everything needs fixing like
Well, it's almost
multiple times a year.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is an all-year
Yeah.
deal. That's why we're here today, to show people that it's a constant continuation from every year. I'm sure that once you get through like the middle of like spooky season, you're already thinking about the next year. And
We are, and the place is trashed, and we're already thinking about like he'll start having trail ideas, like ways he's going to change the trail or cut throughs or whatever it is, like by the first weekend is over. Just because the flow, he might not like it, or he sees an opportunity for something a little better, a little different. A lot of times things just work out and they stay for a very long time. Like we've had the mansion for so long, we've had the train for so long, and they kind of are just become like permanent fixtures of the haunt. I mean, we hope. I think the whole world would cry if anything ever happened to the mansion or the skull, but
Yeah.
but that's the thing. It's like, you fall in love with these monsters. Like I love the skull cactus, and now he's the gargoyle. So they don't really die. They just get replaced with something just as
well,
cool.
that's a whole other thing that we could talk about later
Yeah,
on is
yeah.
repurposing,
Yeah.
restoring, and also recycling. That's one of the things that we've learned about the haunt community.
Yeah.
Is that nothing gets wasted.
No.
It's either it's created and then it's reused, and then it's reused again, it's repurposed.
This thing's been sitting here for quite a while. So this, just for funsies, one, this is our cornstalk storage. Two, this used to be our entrance to the haunt the first year I came. So this place has come very far since my first visit.
Heck yeah, it's expanded a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, this was just a field, and there was reapers, the big reapers that were repurposed that we're about to go see. And you just kind of like moseyed into the field. It was kind of like a free-for-all, and you went through here, and so much has been added. Like the reaper area, that was the body bags was my first project. The reapers was my second project. like big, huge project, and we completely revamped that entire area. And it used to be part of the haunt, then it went into, you know, hiding for a bit. So it's pretty cool. He'll open up and then close up areas of the haunt. So like when we do cut throughs, when we're trying to get from scene to scene while we're open and people are running through, you run into this area of the haunt and you're like, whoa, I totally forgot about this area. It's like a huge space. And he might bring it back in 5 years. So that's what he does when he changes the trails. He'll just close off an area that used to be used, and people think it's like a completely new thing that's just always been there. It's like an illusion. So
how long have you been working with him?
this is somehow only my 5th season. It just feels like a lot more because I started during COVID and we were here almost every day. The dedicated schedule was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then as the season got closer, you know, you'd be here 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Wallace is here like every day, and then, you know, we're pretty much here balls to the wall, end of September all through October, and even into November, breaking everything down. So it feels like a lot longer than that when I think about it. But some of these people have been here since the beginning. Like Wallace has been here since before he was even here. So, you know, close to 15 years, maybe more. We can ask him. He's here today.
It was 2000. I want to say 2011 is when he moved here, according to what I've read.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
because he was a home haunt in 2001, and then he got too big within a couple of years, and the cops were like, you can't do this anymore. And then he had to move to Cobble House, and they were only there for like 2 or 3 years before they had to move. So that sounds right, 2011. Well, Peter, this is a good opportunity to look at their hands. It took me 3 months to do this. There was already a base previously made, and then we went around, collected sticks from a tree that was recently cut, so they were still alive, bent them, did the wire, and then they were covered with paint, glow paint and liquid nails and all that to just keep them sturdy. And obviously because he fell, these need some repair. His whole hand is broken. So that'll be another project for me. So we never stop working. Christmas and Thanksgiving usually is when we stop. We had like 30 or 40 of these things, and we basically use clay to make their faces look angrier. Some have jaws removed. Eric would custom do their teeth with a solder iron. And then we would use liquid nails and painter's plastic to corpseify them. Some are stained, some are not stained. So some of these weren't quite finished, the whole body, so they were initially for the Devil's Den. We had plenty for the Devil's Den, and any that weren't completely done, like some don't have any corpseified legs. We just were like, the plan was to add life-size Reapers here, because in pictures it's hard to see how big these are if there's not a person standing next to them, so you can see, you know, how small they are. It looks like 2 of our dudes are missing ropes. So this is Jack. He's missing a waist rope. Ronnie is also missing a waist rope. Reggie has a rope, so this is what they're supposed to. He built the bases, and then we covered them with black cloth, and it just looked like weird stick people, and then we draped all these robes over them. We were very lucky. Most of these straps already existed. We just had to pick them out and kind of piece them together. Some I think look better than others, but it's interesting, like the ones that I pick as my favorite, other people pick my least favorite as their favorite. So everyone has like a Reaper preference. It's kind of nice. So this is Pat. Back when they were out in that field where the trees are, there was a 50-foot guy. He was enormous. So he's the same height as them. He's just on the hill to give the illusion that he's a little bigger. He has a bigger head.
My goodness.
He is not done. We never got the front of his robe on, and it makes me sad. Maybe I'll fix it this year. But this is Charlie. So just an example of maintenance. He has black cloth that's supposed to go in his mouth to hide the foam. So I have to get on a ladder and stick that back in. This is another good way to see how their hands look. This has lasted quite a while. I knocked on wood. As long as no, those do just fine. Like even their faces look really good at night, but he So this shed is, we call it Jolene's shed. This shed has been here since Home Haunt days. This used to be for actors to come through. For a long time, none of this was utilized. This was just all leaves. There was nothing here. And then we reopened this up to actors. And we have, you can hide in there. We usually have a light that shines through at night, like a red light with fog coming out, so it looks like, you know, the shack from hell. They can also come out of this door here, and this has like a timed fog machine and like flickering lights to look like a fire. I don't think we actually turned it on last year. But again, he was covered in burlap, so we need to fix him because he was supposed to kind of look like a burlap person. This was supposed to be so people could like sit and take selfies, and I think people are scared that they're not supposed to do those things, and so very few and far between, but sometimes I just like put a little leaf right on his head, and it's adorable. And this is Eric loves to do stuff like this. He's notorious for making like pretend walls so that you can like jump out and scare people and stuff like this. So when you're coming, I can see that you're coming and jump out and scare. The dragon I think is 10 or 11 years old now. This is the sawmill. So the sawmill used to be there. It definitely was falling apart, not in a way that would hurt anybody, but in a way that it just looked like shit. So he didn't want to get rid of it, so we basically moved it here and made it like twice the size that it was. And this is supposed to be like a big giant pumpkin face. It's not done yet. The goal is to finish it this year. Sometimes these scenes and these projects are like a 3-year deal. Like the Reapers still aren't even fully done. Like it seems done, but there's more plans for it. So even if we finish this for this season, we're going to keep working on it until it's how we want it to be. Especially a project of this undertaking, like we can't drive in any like machinery in here to help us with this. We literally hand lug everything in, carry everything in. Some of these pieces of lumber are like so heavy it's not even funny. And so it takes multiple people to lug it in, pass it up the ladder, and trying to get it all the way to the top. And you know, we try to use like a pulley system a lot of times, and you know, Eric has like superhuman strength, so sometimes he's just holding it like while he's trying to drill it, and we're just standing here like, how do you do that? So it's very time consuming. Yeah. But we got all the hardest stuff, so I was told. The hard part is out of the way. Now it's just a matter of finishing it and having the help. So we're all volunteers. Nobody here gets paid. So all the proceeds go to the farm. Not all of them, but a portion goes to the farm. A portion goes to the Pope Memorial Humane Society. I don't know how much the farm has made, but the shelter since 2011 has made more than $500,000 off of our donations.
That's admirable.
So it's worth it. But to me, like, the reward isn't even about the money. The reward is that I can just come here and be here if I want. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we're
like-
here right now,
Yeah.
and we have the breeze.
Yeah.
We have the rustling of the leaves,
Yep.
but it's quiet. It's tranquil, and it's not still, but it's still. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I could just imagine this is a great like place to just meditate a little bit and just bring it all in.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite, I feel like most therapeutic times here is when it's like me, Eric, and Wallace here at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night in our own areas, working on our own projects by ourselves, just like listening to frogs. Like, so some of my favorite memories here, and it's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, at the time, you're like, what the hell am I doing here? It's like middle of the night, and I'm exhausted, but I have to get this project done, and then it's like, that's the memory I think of most. And the fact that we can just be here and do that, to me, is like amazing. It's like all the payment I really need. And he feeds us. He gives us coffee. He buys us coffee.
So.
Oh, the dragon.
Yeah. So this is the dragon, right?
If you come over here more, he looks more menacing. Yeah.
This part right here.
So his tail goes all the way around. He used to be black. Or no. He was green. He was completely green, and then they painted him black, and now he's like black with the glow paint. So the glow paint looks like that green color, but at night it's not as light, it's more streaky. But he pops under the black light. So this whole area has black lights. We used to go through him as patrons, but you know, he's fragile now and some of his mouthpieces are falling off, and so for safety we've just totally, we have corn stalks and stuff to guide you not underneath him. So we use it as actors, but we want him to stay as long as possible, so now it's just a matter of making sure people aren't leaning all over him and hanging off him and stuff like that.
I mean, just this alone, right?
Yeah, like who thinks of this?
I mean, it's a fantastic vision, but I mean, the construction part of it.
And Eric doesn't have any background, I don't think, in construction. He just like throws it together and then it looks like this.
What?
Yeah. Wallace is the one who has the construction background.
The engineering?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this is just overwhelming. I mean,
Like, how do you even go about figuring out what to carve for each piece and like where to put it? So I got to watch him do this with the gargoyle, which isn't nearly as many pieces, and I just don't even understand it.
The thought process itself.
well, yeah, I
is
mean,
amazing.
it's like a log cabin almost, but yet it's a dragon,
Yeah.
you know? And again, you have to cut. It doesn't look like it's precise.
No.
So
it's purposely uneven.
yeah, so you got to fit all of these pieces in without really anything locking in together, and it all looks like this. This is just insane.
This saw and the saw on the front of this are from his grandfather's sawmill. I think a lot of these props here are also from that. And
That's pretty amazing.
yeah, another cut through for us. She's inside there if you want to
Yeah, saw.
And then when the corn stalks come in, they have so much food, but then we like drown them out with haunt noise for a month. And they're like, what the hell? But there's more and more to this. Every bobcat, a bobcat here. We have like, we added a few years ago just to make them seem different. We painted them black and we make the back of the inverted cross glow red. And then there's fog coming out of his mouth, and it pretty much fills this entire area too. I'm like not
Ask
certain.
questions,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as soon as I put normally, okay, so we carve. When I first started, we carved like 100 to 150 pumpkins every week, and we lit them. So we were only allowed to have them lit in Pumpkin Alley. Now we carve like 200 to 250 pumpkins because we have expanded. We did the Legendary Haunt Tour a second time and we carved 600 pumpkins. That was insanity. But now he like wants to do more and put them out there. So we'll probably carve like 300 pumpkins maybe. We have a whole pumpkin crew that specifically just comes to bang pumpkins out super fast. Eric will carve them. Sometimes I take a bunch home and I carve them and bring them back. I take projects home and bring them back all the time just because it is a far drive. So all the pumpkins kind of start lining the walls here. He puts them up there. And this is the skull. And these are the two pumpkin men that replaced the or there's three. To replace the 50-foot, that was actually one of his legs. That's
Oh,
his
wow.
body. But as you can see, they get pretty trashed, so we need to fix him. They all kind of need some fixing. And that's just the weather. So the skull is built just like the dragon. Isn't that wild?
The wild part is the scale. My goodness.
I know. Well, you have no idea how big it is until you're standing here looking at it. It doesn't matter how many pictures you see. It's like, it's so much bigger than it seems.
It's so cool that we're here seeing this in person. Wow.
So it's a ton of work, and it's funny because like 4th of July usually marks the end of summer for us, because that means it's balls to the wall. Like, even if we're coming 3 days a week, there's really not that many work days till haunt season begins. Even though we open the second weekend of October, it's like less than 20 days or something like that now. But to like people like my friends, like for example, my friend Elise was like, "Oh, I love 4th of July. It marks the start of summer." And I was like, "Yeah, for you. For me, now we're all stressed out because I'm like, God, I hope we get that done. I hope we get this done." So we kind of don't really like have a summer because we're just stressed out about fall being immediately around the corner.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, everybody. So all of the trade shows and everything, it goes all the way up to like halfway to Halloween, and then from that point on,
Stop.
no, from that point on, for all of the builders, the construction, the landscape, all of that stuff, it's on.
Yeah.
Because like you said, not a whole lot of people have every single day, so you might only have 3 days a week or whatever. So yeah, so it looks like it's 120 days till
but it's
haunt
not.
season, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
like you said, it could be 20 or 30.
And we've been coming here on site since May, maybe even April. As soon as it's nice enough to be outside for an extended period of time, or the ground is soft enough to start digging or whatever, we're here. And if we're not here, we're at Eric's. He has a workshop at his house, and we work on projects there like the skeletons we showed you earlier. It's not really set up in here, but this is the ticket booth.
So guys, just to let you know, we're finally getting to the ticket booth. All of that is in the queue.
Yeah.
That is all
The queue line
insane.
at this point is almost as long as the haunt itself. So he built this low wall so that while you could be in line, you could still be seeing Pumpkin Alley. We have queue line actors in here kind of entertaining you and stuff like that. And of course there's a billion pumpkins. You have all these picture opportunities. And as you keep going in line, we get to this here. We usually have Biscuit. That's his mannequin. So the goal is to keep building mannequins for certain actors who are just here like a permanent part. Like we have a Sister Lucy, we have a Biscuit. But when Biscuit's here, he's usually sitting here playing his banjo, or his manjo, I should say. It's
So,
like a
and
bed.
now what you're explaining is Biscuit's a real live actor.
He is,
And
yeah.
so you've made a mannequin to
Yeah.
fit him.
For the day walk.
Almost like for the day walk?
Yeah, so that people will still be scared, you know, because they're very realistic.
That was pretty realistic for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's almost like a memorial or a tribute.
Yeah, and they deserve it. Biscuit deserves it. He's also a builder. He's away right now. He goes away for camp during certain months, but he did a lot of this, his shack here. And this is kind of his little area. We kind of thought the queue line would be a better place for him because before he was in the witch house, it wasn't the witch house at the time, but people were stopping to hang out with him because he's like a very comforting, fun character. And people wanted to interact with him, and it was kind of creating a conga line in the witch area. So we thought we would put him out here in the queue line so that people would have the opportunity to sit and interact with him. He wants me to talk about this with you because we're going to enter the beehive area. So just remember the way this skull looks. That's the same method we're going to use on the beehives. We just kind of, just kind of remember that. So this is all fake, made to look real. It's like amazing, the stuff that he does. So this pumpkin hanging on the fence there, that's from the home haunt as well.
Yeah, it is so real looking.
Isn't that pumpkin so cool?
That is.
So there's like a glowing light that flickers like a candle, and fog comes out of his mouth, and he makes Pumpkin Alley what it is. I love that pumpkin. So this is where you are basically told the rules one more time. Is she out here? No, she's not. So we have Mistress Karma and her cat. She sits here and tells you more rules, just a reminder of what you can and can't do, and she also paces them going in. She's here every single night she has to be, so it's amazing. Some of these actors are so dedicated. And then we enter the haunt.
1 second. Wow, man, look at this.
We did these skeletons, and we used a vacuum cleaner in reverse with a glue gun to make the spider webs.
Oh wow.
I didn't get to finish it, and I've never really got the opportunity to go. I just need to quit my jobs and move in to the skull, and then I can finish all the things I started. This used to be the vortex, so ideally to have a good vortex it needs to be a very tight space and a very long space. So this is an ideal space for the vortex, but as we mentioned, it was becoming a problem because people want to play in it, as they should. So we turned this into like the circus tunnel. There's also usually somebody in here with some kind of glowing device, whether it's a hula hoop or like a thing to wave you to go in, because you go in here and you're totally disoriented. I work here and I'm still like, where is everything?
And you
like,
bump
that's
into
the
it.
wall. Yeah. So right now it's daytime, so we can obviously see, but when you walk through here at night, you definitely need assistance. It's very dark. Watch your butt. So the circus tent is kind of a disaster zone right now because there used to be a floor and a ramp, but it was rotting out all the time and needing to be replaced, and it was costing a lot of money, and it was very dangerous, very slippery when it was raining. So for the first time ever, he decided to take the floor out, and we're not done with it yet. So there's a lot of work to be done, so just pretend it doesn't look like it. My personal take on the circus is that I don't like clowns, but because I love the people in the clown tent so much, and then I'm a roaming actor, so I can roam around and see how other people are scaring. Now I have the opportunity to see how amazingly interactive and fun it is to be a clown. My character doesn't do that, so I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I do like clowns. But only because it's them. Like, if it was other, like, in the movies clowns, like, I like the killer clowns, but so being here and being around like people who have essentially become some of my best friends gave me an appreciation for those characters, and the haunt would not be what it is without them. So they are essential, and it is complete insanity in here.
It's a crazy question. Can I take a little piece of rock?
Yeah. So this is the new tunnel. It's going to be completely black. So leaving the circus, going into the cornfield, and we're making these mannequins that have like these ghostly like faces, almost like Phantom of the Opera style, but it's a full mask. And those are essentially going to be like to make them kind of glow a little bit. They almost look like mimes, but we're using the same method as the skeletons, where we make them look angry and, you know, customize their faces to look a certain way. And there's like female, feminine faces and more manly faces and stuff like that. Some of them look kind of alien-like. So that's a project that's being worked on now. So this will all be painted black. This is a little Heidi. He's gonna chop this so we can come through with our saws. Now we're in the cornfield.
Oh wow, look at this, Val.
So these, when the electricity's on, all of these pumpkins light up. Like they have like the glowy faces. And this was at his home haunt. See, this is a light. This is from the home haunt. This is one of the first pumpkins of this style that he made. This one has chicken wire in it. Now he uses balloons so that they can pop and there's nothing inside. So now we're on the other side of Biscuit's shack. So there's normally like tons of corn stalks here, and it's a cut through so we can get in and out. This is one of our actors. He has a mannequin too. He kind of lives in the cornfield, so that's good for the day walk.
This is like sensory overload.
And
It's
it's
like,
not even full capacity right now. This is like kind of sad.
to us, this
It's
is
so
like,
trashed.
you're saying trash and I'm going, this is like eye candy, man. This is insane.
Now we're leaving the cornfield, and again, this is typically more decorated with like, there's hundreds and hundreds of corn stalks and fake pumpkins that are glowing, and you know, we're not there yet. So this is going into the Devil's Den now. This is all lit with black lights, and so all the ghosts are glowing. I hide in here sometimes. So I'm not going to go all the way in because I don't want to like destroy spider houses, but I usually hide in here. I have like a necromancer character, so I just put my hood on. And it's, people are so scared coming in. All I have to do is like, I don't want to kill them all. So I just stand like this, and it's like crazy to me that people don't know I'm real, but they're so scared of it being so dark. Like sometimes I can't even see, and then I just jump out, and they like, I wait for them to be right here. Or like if there's a group, I wait for one half to go because there's a girl in one of these ghost costumes in there. So she'll scare them, they'll hear it and see it and think they're good, and then I jump out, and one girl fell head first into my coffin.
I knew you were coming out, and I'm not gonna lie, I took a step back.
Another cut through. This is just how we get from scene to scene without people noticing. It's another way to get into this area to scare people. This is not supposed to be like this. So clearly we have a roof collapse here. Just a good example of how much work has to be put into fixing it. So,
There it is. That's the reason why. I guess we'll leave that alone. No pun. Sorry, that was really dumb.
That was a really good one, actually. So actors can hide here, and again, they usually are dressed similar to this.
Now, also too, like, I mean, you guys want to be able to hit the same group maybe 2 or 3 times, right?
So the roamers do a lot of times, like if I get an easy group of screaming little boys or girls, like they're just like easy targets, you can hear them coming, I will tag them a bunch of times and haunt. Yeah, I'll chase around. I try to hit everybody, so I go from the beginning, backwards, beginning, backwards, beginning, backwards, beginning, backwards. A lot of people just scramble around, but I try not to miss anyone, especially if I have people I know coming and I want to like get them in like my favorite spots. So this used to be part of the nursery. We chopped the nursery in half and made half of it into the Devil's Den. I was really glad about that. I don't like dogs. But the nursery got an upgrade last year, and it actually does look really cool. So our nursery actors are pretty great too.
Hold on.
This is where it gets important. So a few things. He made these, he traced these from real graves at a cemetery near his house during winter, and we cut them out of real pieces of wood. So a lot of these still need to be secured. But this is our new graveyard, and this graveyard is going into the newbie area. So I forgot to tell you earlier, you will meet Eric. He's going to be working. So we'll just say hi to him really quickly and then move on. I hide behind this one because I'm like as tall as it. And it's foggy in here, and I wait for them to get here and I just go, psst. Because they can't see me. It's like full, we have low-lying fog machines in here. It's coming through because it's a big, everything in here is just a switchback. The trail is over a mile long, but only because of switchbacks.
Oh wow.
It's a 5-acre plot that we have, basically.
Wow, that's really maximizing the area, right?
Yeah.
And guys, as you can hear, there is construction going on right now, so we're gonna have some noise, but it's all gonna be well worth it when they open up in October. This place is already insane, and it's only gonna get better. All right, so we are with the owner and operator of Haunted Overload.
Eric Lowther.
And Eric, I always have one question. At what point did you realize that being a haunted house attraction operator owner was going to be the path you were going to take to get here today?
It was a very slow process from being a small home haunt, as being a kid and setting up little haunted houses, to just, once we got our first scare, I was just in love with scaring people, right? So I just kept doing it, little home haunts, as I, grew up. And then when I got my own house, I started another display. I wanted to have a massive Halloween party, so we went all out, made this 20-foot scarecrow and everything, because my yard was really small. And then the home haunt just kind of, over the next 5 years, just exploded. We just kept trying to top ourselves, building bigger and bigger. I had a small yard, so we just kept building bigger and bigger monsters out of telephone poles and everything. And then it got to a point where there was just too many people flooding into the neighborhood. So I went to Transworld, and then it's either I'm forced to stop because I'll get shut down, or I attempt to make a business out of it. So that's kind of how it evolved. And then I went from my front yard into another farm, and then we've been here since 2010. So
yeah, it is amazing, and that totally makes sense to me now why everything is 50 feet tall, because you had a small yard, so you couldn't go and expand. You just went straight up into the air.
Right, and that's kind of how we gained our notoriety, is once I started making a 30-foot scarecrow looming over the road, and people were screeching, stopping to, coming to a screeching halt in front of my house. I knew that, oh, this is something really special that nobody else is doing. So we just kept kind of going with that theme. So now, we try and make a few big things, to have as anchors, and then, do a lot of the scary, because people like to get scared too. They just don't want to look at giant things, you know what I mean? But the giant things are awesome to look at and take photos and everything.
They're amazing, they're overwhelming, and we can't thank you enough for having us out here. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for coming out.
And continued success, all the best to you, and have a great spooky season.
Thanks a lot.
This is the trail through the hive. This is going to be like a little hidey area. It's just going to be like a jog, basically. And then the hive continues, but there's going to be areas here, like it'll be covered, but the actors can come through. And then there's one last hidey hole jog in here. So like obviously there's a wall here, and they can just come out and grab it here. These hives might create enough blocking where we just need some corn stalks. If not, we'll build a temporary fence here, just so that the patrons coming in this way can't be seen. We can't see each other.
Right.
We want to block. We don't ever want to be able to see the other patrons from where we are. We're going to revamp this whole graveyard area to kind of connect with that one, and lead up to the mansion. It's just kind of a disaster zone at the moment.
Well, for Eric too, I mean, his passion takes over.
Yeah.
So that, I think that probably fuels most of his energy. I mean, he's already, it seems like he's
24/7.
really,
Yeah.
I mean, he's on
Even
high wire right now.
Even in the middle of like the night, like as haunt season's approaching, when we're all dying, he just like takes 5-hour energy, and that's just him in the middle of the night. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's very, very like childlike in a good way. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
So like when I first came here, my whole thing was, as I was at the point where I didn't know if I was too old to trick or treat. What age are you too old to trick or treat?
There is none.
What age are you too old to dress up? So I was like ringing people's doorbells, and they were kind of looking at me like, all right, kid, like the hell out of here. So I was like, Jesus, maybe I am too old to trick or treat. I was like 12 or 13. So the next year, I decided to just pass out candy. I dressed as Ghostface, and I sat in the chair like I was a mannequin, and I would like jump scare the kids. And it was like really sad. There was like no trick-or-treaters, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like maybe I'm just getting older and noticing, but I feel like a year ago at that time, there was no parents. There was just 7 million kids running in the street. You couldn't drive down it. We all had pillowcases full of candy. It was like, I don't know if it's like parents are scared or kids are scared or no one cares anymore. I was just like dying everywhere. Got worse as I aged. And like I live next to Salem, where you would think this was. I live my town. I'm 5 minutes from Salem. I've been there my whole life.
jealous.
So it's like, you would think that this is where all the action is, and it's like, no, it's not unless you live in Salem.
Right.
So I came here, and it was like, holy shit, this is where Halloween went. Like, everything that I've watched die is just here. But for me, it was, you know, coming here, seeing real authentic Halloween still existing, and that's the person driving it. You were like, yeah, sure, I have to drive an hour and 10 minutes, but how lucky am I that it's only an hour and 10 minutes? We have a guest actor, this girl, she comes, her name is Jeanette. She's phenomenal. She drives like 4 freaking hours. Joy Joy, one of our best clowns, lives in upstate New York. She also comes and stays for the weekend, acts like 2 weekends out of the year. So these people come from everywhere, and again, we're volunteers, but it's like we said, the authenticity of Halloween that this place is, and like the enthusiasm driving it, is why people come as far as they do.
100%.
For free labor. And like, to us, it's play. It's like, we're not really working, we're just playing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're creating. So for me, I love the Stan Winston School of Art. Like, they did Jurassic Park and Terminator and all that. So for me, this is like small scale Halloween version of that. And it's like what I've always wanted to do. So.
Yeah, Eric's like your coach, man. He's a rah-rah, so you want to run through a wall for him, right?
Yeah, he could say anything he says. He's like, oh, do you feel like doing this? He's like, oh, it kind of sucks, but you feel like doing it? And I'm like, yes, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yes, Halloween, we'll do it. This is one of our older buildings, and probably our most iconic, next to the skull. So this building, this entire house is styled off of 3 different mansions that Eric liked pieces of and put it together. Built by 5 guys in 500 hours in 1 season.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Or maybe, yeah, 1 season. And they were literally painting it the day we opened that year. So a lot of people, this ends up on like abandoned pages, and everyone's like, oh, it's so sad. They let that house go. So sad. Oh, I'd love to go in it and this and that. And it's like, you can. It's at Haunted Overload. Definitely, I would say the most photographed thing in Everett. You'll see the difference right now.
We already, apparently we're going to look for them. We get to go to 300 House and look at it. I gotta.
So we're gonna walk through the mansion.
So,
Let me know if you need a flashlight at all.
I don't think so.
Just watch your footing. So this is designed to look abandoned, but I will say that it has also taken an actual beating, and it's a little bit more abandoned looking than it's supposed to be. But it works. So we have the actors who are in here every single day. We're in a group chat. Every single day they post new couches they find on Facebook Marketplace. Do you think Eric will buy this for the mansion?
We do need a new couch.
So this is another floor that's constantly replaced because of this. So the fire department requires there to be a hole in the ceiling at some point when there's so much enclosed space for fire. And because of that, this is constantly rotting, getting slippery and gross, and so that's another repair that we deal with all the time.
So like a scene like this.
If you look up, this is chandelier too.
I won't get that.
We also have a controller so that when people walk through, you press the button and it's like a voice of a man blowing out the candles, and all the candles go out for a second.
So as I'm looking at a scene like this, you have a whole lot of different, I don't know, odds and ends.
Yep.
Is there somebody that's responsible for like all of the different
Yeah.
like clocks and books and
It's just a lot of donations. Like in the next room, we have a bunch of random family photos. Don't know who they are or who brought them, but they were donated. I don't know exactly where each piece came from, but you'd be probably pretty amazed at how much stuff is just dropped in Eric's lap for certain things. Like, you know how many people have tried to give him a friggin' curse? He always says no, but one day he might say yes. That Hendrix bottle does not look
oh jeez.
These are all Ghost Ride. These two are, these two. This one is new. There's another one. Oh, she's right here. It's like, where is she? She's right behind me.
Yeah, I know. She actually gave me a little bit of a scare.
She's like pretty but ugly at the same time.
See, I see all this stuff here, and it's like, this is like garage sale stuff, you know, or flea market stuff. And it's
I
like,
wish the photo was here, but this is a drop window, and the photo was of a family all on the bed together. So it was popular to, if the family died or whoever died, they would lay them in bed together and take their photos. So awkward. It's just funny.
yeah,
I want to know
it's-
how many people noticed that.
Probably not many. You know, like, that's the whole problem. That's one of the things that. One of the things that we're here for is that we want to see this because we know that when the lights are off, right? Like this is dark right here, right?
Yeah.
So the lights are off. You see the candle, you see fog, or you see whatever lights that you want us to see, but you don't get to see all of the scene,
No.
right? And
Yeah.
but it's there, and that's why I'm so like, I don't know. Maybe I'm so enthusiastic about showing this stuff is because I just appreciate that it's there,
Yeah.
and I want people to know because it gets overlooked, and it's one of those things that kind of bothers me.
It definitely does get overlooked because
You know?
you can't see.
Right. And it's little details, right, that you guys take the time and effort to make that should be appreciated, and again, it ends up being overlooked. And
Like this tiny organ that I don't think anyone knows is there. It's lit at night.
oh, is that what you youngsters say? It's lit?
Well, I mean, like, literally lit.
Oh.
There's lights. So just an example of Eric's energy. We have this covered bridge, and so this wasn't even on the plans. He just built this covered bridge in one day randomly out of scraps. Like, I just came in and he was doing this, and I'm like, where did this come from? He's like, oh, I just thought, you know, I hated how this looks, so I just built it. It's madness.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us how hard it was to make this thing? All right, maybe not. That's fine.
So there's a mannequin under here, and the mannequin's covered in black cloth, which is like road mat before they put rocks down. And then we cover it with new burlap, which is obviously bright. And then we had so the Pumpkin Man had a pile of burlap meant for him, the 50-foot that he never got dressed in. So I got very lucky for 2 years and had perfectly conditioned burlap that was just rotting in its own pile of filth. So it already had this natural, like this piece is one of the pieces. This is new burlap that I attempted to make look like the seasoned burlap was, we'll call it. So we just spray painted, but this was the gold. Like, realistically, the only way to get that is to put burlap in a pile and let it be seasoned over a couple of years of time. Like, that pile probably sat there for 3 years before I started pulling it apart and using it on the body bags, which is disgusting. But again, I think it kept me unsick for a couple of years. It's my own penicillin, like you said.
And it's so authentic.
Right, and so we would do the nice sturdy layer underneath and then just decorate with the crap, because it wasn't going to ever look better than that. The problem with that is if I pull this, I'm not going to do it, but if I pull it, it ends up like this. It's just, it's crap. Like it's just, it's not going to last. So it's painful. So it was a lot of work. The bodies in here are not as bad because they're protected from the elements, but like the tops of their heads would be really bad, and it's like a spot that's going to get worse. So it's like you would have to like literally do the whole thing over. Like you can't patch it. So it was like there's no easy way to get around the body bags. Do I think they're still worth it? Absolutely. If he was like, oh, we're bringing the body bags back and you have to do 50 more, I'd be like, okay, I will do 50 more body bags, because I think there's nothing like them, especially with the technique that Eric has us do. So this is a body bag somebody tried to fix, and like it's very bulky. This is what you don't want. There's also one right next to you too. Where does this body bag turtle go? Just out, back out into...
Yeah. This will be a little bump out. Where are they?
There's more bodies. There's one here. A lot of times I would hide behind here with the chainsaw. And you can cut through. There's cut through back. So now we're approaching the gargoyle.
Oh my goodness.
So it took us, this is a 40-foot wingspan. It was welded by Viking Welding. And then we put the road mat black cloth and we custom burned holes in it and we zip tied it all up, and the holes are an attempt to like stop the wind from knocking them down. But then, you know, we ran the sacrifice of, we did of course, had a storm and it messed up one of his wings, but we fixed it, and they've held up amazingly, all things considered, with the snow we get here. And yeah, getting those things in and out of this haunt was a bitch.
I can only
But
imagine.
he looks super cool, doesn't he?
Looks super cool. My
So,
goodness.
His legs aren't done. The leg pieces are right in here. It's another one of those projects where you just run at a time and you hit it again the next year. But the same technique as the dragon. Not quite as many pieces, but...
Guys, you're not going to believe this, though. I mean, this is massive, and it is way, way, way more impressive. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Look at this. Look at how big this is. That is our tour guide, Nikki, who is amazing. And look at how tall he is. I mean, it is overwhelming.
And again, we don't have any machinery. We carry everything in and huck it up ladders to each other, and it's crazy. Now we're in the train yard. So this is a completely dark area. The only light that's available is from other scenes surrounding it. And he has, if you look up, there's a speaker. He wanted this to be like a deafening sound system so that you would be disoriented. Over by the giant pumpkin, he also got a new speaker that it like brings out a sense of dread in you. It's just it's a frequency. You can't hear it, and even if you know it's there, it's like it still hits you. It just makes you feel awful.
Wow.
But it's like the sense of dread is like makes it easier to scare you. It's like even though we know it's there, it happens to us too. But,
Yeah, it just overcomes you.
there's two trays here. Usually fog comes out of his mouth and he flickers. It's supposed to be like the trains are going to crash. That train's old. It's been here a long time. gives you more fear. So there's lanterns. Those are typically lit and flickering all throughout. So Eric dresses all the mannequins in his own clothes. They knew it was there too. So that's Eric's clothes on the mannequin. This just scared me. Not. This is the bird's nest. An actor used to go up there. There used to not be fences, like you could stand further away and be able to see. So right now it's hidden, but again, he might move the fences and reveal it again. We used to have like a bird actor up there. It's pretty great. So now it's just like this creepy tunnel that you walk through until he reveals it again. These are just wrapped to protect them, but they are like ghosts, similar to the Devil's Den. This is like a different version of the Devil's Den. They're more like dressed, like draped like dresses instead of wrapped like body bags. And they're hit with glow paint so that, because this is called the Blacklight Tunnel.
Oh, this is the
This is another ghost ride. She's a vampire. She's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, I remember that.
She's absolutely beautiful. I'm really hard to scare. I get scared. I don't react. And over by the castle, it was like my first year, and I saw, it was nighttime. My job was to turn off the circus breaker, to go through the castle and come back through the castle. I saw Eric run by, so I start running to catch up with him, and I didn't know you could get under the castle from the other side, and he grabbed my ankles from under the deck and was like, "Nikki!" So he's easy to scare, but I finally got him back with an ankle scare. He was coming around the corner, so I hid because he loves showing this little thing off. We're not supposed to touch patrons, but so he ran by and I grabbed his ankles and I was like, "Eric!" And he jumped. He was like, "Holy shit!" But it's like he has to know we're back there. Anytime he comes by, he has to know. And it's funny because a lot of actors will scare me sometimes by accident, but a lot of times they do it on purpose. And I don't really. I just kind of go like this. But once in a while.
So is that a challenge, like, for everybody
Yeah, they
here? Is
always
it almost
try
like
to-
a game?
They try to get me because it's hard to do that. Yeah, so. Yeah. But, I mean, sometimes it's April and we're still scaring each other. So now we're going into the witch area. This is very similar to that house out front where it's just all these sticks. Everything's painted black. This is a total mess right now, both because of storms and because, like, we have collections of sticks that we have to disperse. We made this nice little cove. We worked very hard on this. Harder to make an arch than you think. But we have an actress who has real bad hips. She has, I think, PDS. And so she can't stand for very long. So we made her that little layer so she can still participate and sit down if she needs to. Very working here and it's severe anxiety that just got scared. Here or siblings or whatever. That's awesome. Yeah. Acting
Because you want to.
do that.
Yeah.
You know. Like I love that off-season scare. But it's really really hard. So this is a facade. This door, again, I don't know. Sorry, spider. So people can hide in here. This is actually our dressing room. Behind here. This is the original witch house, which actually used to be the hillbilly shack for Biscuit. So everyone doesn't know what to do here. They're like, what the hell the fuck is here? And then they try to come over here. So come on into the witch house. We're still working on this. This is like one of those scenes that it's just a time, you know, over time it'll be more and more and more. You know, this is how witches would decorate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy that's out there that you met with Emily, their husband and wife, his name's Jeff, he made this for this scene. He has his own like gore Halloween store type thing called Get Gross.
That's amazing. And you were saying this is...
Brumhilda. We love her. She's a good witch lady. This is a project that we put our like blood, sweat, and tears into, where we made all these custom bottles. Like some have clay on them. But what's important is I put my tarantula molts in a lot of them, and some snake sheds from my own pets.
Cool.
So it was a big risk because like a lot of people, like this is one of my tarantula's very first molts. It just fit really nice in the bottle. There's more here. But it was just like, you know, people are definitely going to try to rip this stuff off of the shelves and take it. And
That is a sad statement.
so here are some of these right here. So these are going, or they're wasps. They're going into the wasp section. But he also has like all these tarantulas too. I guess that's not a tarantula. This would be more like a black widow. And then there's a box full of them right here. And there's more here that were being sprayed. So the dressing room's multi-purpose.
So this is your costume right
this
here.
This is my necromancer cloak. Yeah. It's too long for me. I tried to tell her I was short, but it fits her. So it's a little ruined for me stepping on it. So our names are Shade and Shadow. So this is her saw, has her name on it, and this is mine. How cool.
Oh, wow.
Has my name on it.
I mean, how cool is that to have your own?
Yeah,
Monogram
and, like, if you want to get really
chainsaw.
close,
Oh, yeah, I guess
one
I
of the
did.
builders welded them for us, painted them, took the safeties off, punctured holes to make them louder, scarier, because these are dinky ass saws. I could not lug a real saw around all night, I would die.
Yeah.
So mine got wet and started rusting. I'm a little sad about it.
I don't know. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite places to scare because I hide behind that. I scare them coming through. I just chase them with the saw. See the gargoyles from here too. This is the gauntlet. It's basically just we usually chainsaw you through here. People go really fast. It's downhill. It's just kind of to rush you. But we have jogs here. Like this used to bring you into the body bags, but so I hid behind this. Total dark. I was like, I'm gonna hit this tree. I know it. So she walks by, and I went to chainsaw, and I was like, whoa! This is the Satanic Church. He built this specifically for Sister Lucy. She was in the body bags, and he thought she should have her own scene. So he built this, and at first it was just a shell of a building, and then he built her this gorgeous platform. Oh, right here. So there she is up on the platform. Ignore the clutter. Welcome to my home. Ignore the clutter. So the monks do belong in here. The monks are Tyla's monks. So just to show you, there's bee masks on all these people. We're just trying to keep the right shape, but these are the old body bags. This is the second time they've lived in here for reconstruction. Now we're heading to the cabins. So the body bags that we're keeping will be in the cabin area just to give it something else. The cabins had big plans that just got put on the back burner. He wants to build more cabin facades in the back with a dressing room, kind of like the witch area with facades and a dressing room. And with the efforts to make the woods look bigger and to try and block the highway noise, because this is one of his least favorite parts about this area, is that you can hear and see the road. But he doesn't want to build like a huge fence and block all those trees and stuff like that. So, so one of my favorite stories about Eric scaring in here is we have a pin light that goes onto the mannequin there, and he is a chainsaw character. He's like a black trench coat. So he was rolled up, hiding in here, and there's a family screaming, like thinking that it was a real actor, like I know you're real, I know you're real, and he started up the saw and rolled over, and they were like ping pong, like everywhere,
outta here.
screaming, running this way, running that way, crashing into each other. So funny. So funny. We have Clegg Sound do all of our sound systems, and then we have like, I think it's called Symphony, something Symphony is who makes our individual. So we have sounds in each individual scene, and then we have area sounds. Grant at Shadow Symphony to design custom soundtracks. 5 main zones for sound that have various ambient soundtracks, and then a central sound running with amplifiers and computers. Yeah. So he's trying to do like out of this world level stuff at a home haunt style haunt, you know what I mean? Which I don't think anyone is doing.
So this is the nursery here. Look at this, guys. Wow.
Keep in mind, these are the dolls that stay out all year. Eric pays really good money for some really nice dolls, and those stay in storage at his house until bug season comes, and then they're brought out. So it gets even more full of dolls.
Oh my goodness.
So this
look at
used to just kind of be this area, and then it would leave, and then the area you're about to go in is the new addition. Emily has a swing that she can go on, and she can go inside the box that's up there. But I think they take the swing down so that people don't mess with it, unless it's like a haunt night.
I mean, this is as creepy as all get out.
So now you're gonna go to your immediate right. Confusing because the door is open. And then somebody made that doll, which is like literally her character and made it. Oh, this way is up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a picture of her.
Oh, very nice.
I'm waiting
That
for
was
you.
very nice. You are very good in your area.
Welcome to my home.
Nice.
And this is what you look like.
Yes, this is
That
Lil
is
P.
I'm looking for a picture of you now.
Do you know, I hate phones and texting and telling people where we're at there, Nikki.
Oh no, we knew exactly
Oh, you
where
guys
you
were all,
going.
you guys,
Yeah.
oh, this was all set up.
Shit, no, well, I mean, I went and got her. She was in my car, and then Eric was like, "Oh, go scare them."
Hold on a second.
The swing was going to be out either.
Hold on a second. You went all the way to your car to
No,
get a
they're
prop.
hardcore about scaring
Yeah,
people.
I went to go get
To
her out of the car so you guys
scare
could
us.
see her, and then Eric was like, "Oh, go scare them."
That's awesome.
We just built this whole thing last year. It took us like 6 months.
This
Yeah.
is cool.
That doesn't seem like a whole lot of time. 6 months.
It took a really, really long. Well, it felt like a really long time.
I mean, it's a huge structure. That's why I'm saying, like, I mean, I would think that it took longer.
Nope, we fly through it.
It is creepy as all get out, though. Whoop! And you are creepy too, ma'am. Just to let you know.
Hop on the swing, take a ride.
No thanks.
We left her up there. Usually people come in and try and like steal stuff, but nobody's tried to steal the swing yet this year, so that means there hasn't been a lot of tours yet.
So this is the trucks. These are supposed to be like Mad Max style. They're old military trucks. They don't run. They had to be towed here. It was originally supposed to be for the clowns to use, but for whatever reason, they don't. But we do have some other actors that go in this area, and normally these lights are blinding you, so you can't see them. And a lot of times Eric will run backwards with the chainsaw, and I've crashed into him like knee to knee, because I'm running towards the light and I have no clue he's even there. And then he doesn't see me, and we slam right into each other all the time. It's
That's
pretty
awesome that he does the stuff in his haunt too. That he's
Oh
an
yeah,
actor in his haunt.
there's only one other woman who I don't know her name, and I forget the haunt that she works at, but she acts with her
That's
people
amazing.
too. but he spends more time acting than he does. Like Wallace is one of the security. We have the police detail. We have a couple of other guys who do security, and Eric just has fun. So then we last year, not only did they do the dollhouse, but the last 2 years we've been perfecting the exit. It used to just be like, hey, thanks for coming, get the hell out. Now we have like a photo booth, and we really we redid the gift shop, and it was more of like a, hey, hang out, you're welcome to stay. So this is usually where the photo booth is. It's obviously a lot more prettied up. There's black cloth usually hanging from this, so you don't see all this crap, and then there's fog inside of his mouth. We need to cover up all that stuff. It ends up in pictures all the time. We just never get around to covering that with more road mat. But this was the original entrance, and it's been hidden away for years, and then we finally just revealed it for the sake of the old entrance. Our original gift shop is this little tiny building at the very end. So they have all this space now, and like Jeff's company, Get Gross, he can sell his stuff in there. A lot of artists, Morgan sells her stuff in the gift shop too. So it's kind of nice that the actors can expand and have their own stuff presented in the Haunted Overload gift shop too.
Alrighty. Haunted Overload in Lee, New Hampshire is over. So Val, did you have fun?
Oh my God, it was so amazing. Seeing all these structures that I've seen in the pictures, it is nothing like being here and seeing them in person. If you ever get up this way, you have to come check this out. We can't wait till we get to come back and do a night haunt. Oh my gosh, everybody here was so nice talking to us about the builds and just seeing everything that they're doing and getting the behind the scenes looks amazing.
So Val's absolutely right. We got to see everything kind of behind the scenes during the day here. So it would be awesome to see a nighttime haunt with all of the show going at once, all the special effects, the sounds, the smells, the scare actors, the whole bit. But I have an appreciation to see the scenes for what they are, because when you do come to see the show, you're not going to see most of the stuff, and those scenes are worked on yearly, so much time and effort, so much creativity, and they usually get overlooked. And so that's why we made this video today, is to show you some of all of that talent and creativity and some of the behind the scenes, and this place is not short of it. We just want to thank Eric. We also want to thank our tour guide, Nikki. And we want to thank all of the volunteers and workers here at Haunted Overload. This is an amazing, amazing attraction. Like Val said, please don't sleep on this thing. If you're in the area, please go and support them. All of the people here are volunteers. They do it for the love of Halloween and the love of the haunt. And if you can meet Eric, oh my goodness, the passion that guy has, and his pinky finger would make me go bonkers. So anything else, Val?
I can't say enough how beautiful this place is. It's amazing. I don't even know. And everybody that works here is all volunteer. Everything is volunteer. Even during the haunt season, they all volunteer. All the money goes to different charities. It's amazing.
So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and help us get to 1,000 subscribers.
It'll let you know when the next video is coming out, and it'll keep you on the loop.
So we want to thank you for coming along with us to Haunted Overload in Lee, New Hampshire. And we want to thank you for Jay and Valing around with us.